Tonight, a massive dust storm blankets the Eyre Peninsula as wild weather causes chaos around the region. And some of the smallest artists at Corn Kindergarten to feature in a statewide art exhibition.
This is Southern Cross News with Abby Donaldson.
Good evening. Residents on the EP have been forced to batten down the hatches as a massive dust storm hit the region. The wild weather covering roads, reducing visibility, while precious topsoil from farms was carried away by wind gusts of up to 100 kilometres an hour.
Whyalla is colloquially known as the Windy City, and today it certainly lived up to its reputation. Strong northerly winds blew in from the west as a front moved across the state. Asthma sufferers were warned to stay indoors as the conditions turned treacherous.
They can get down into the lungs and can trigger asthma attacks and aggravate other respiratory conditions.
On the weather front, it was gusty, with the EP copping a battering.
We've got quite a good front moving across the western part of the state. Very strong northerly winds ahead of that front.
Bins out for collection stood no chance, scattered along Whyalla streets. There was some damage, with the SES attending to a bent TV aerial on Lindsay Street, while across the road, a roller door was ripped from its hinges.
We've had land gales, 60 to 70 kilometres an hour, recorded at Cleve, Port Lincoln and even Whyalla.
It was a disastrous day for farmers battling dry conditions. Tons of topsoil was lifted from the ground by the strong winds. By lunchtime, it reached Whyalla. The local steelworks disappeared behind the dust, while visibility was reduced. But there's relief on the way from both the wind and the dry. A cold front is moving in from behind, bringing cooler, calmer conditions and some rain to a parched region.
We're talking about rainfall figures of approximately sort of 5 to 15 millimetres over eastern Eyre Peninsula.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
The fierce winds also battered the lower Eyre Peninsula, causing widespread damage. Wind gusts were recorded up to 86 kilometres an hour at the Port Lincoln Airport and 96 k's an hour at the Cleve Airport. Power lines toppled over near Tumby Bay, closing the road leading into town and causing major power disruptions, while a roof was swept off a building on a rural property near North Shields. In Coffin Bay, the power went out this morning after a tree fell on a power line. Further west, and overnight winds caused a light pole at Thevenard netball courts to fall over, damaging the fencing. The state government is set to finally fix the deadly Horrocks Highway, announcing funding for a multi-million-dollar upgrade. It's after the highway was voted the worst regional road in the state by the RAA.
Horror highway, all too familiar with fatal crashes. The $2.5 million funding announcement follows the death of a 53-year-old man on the Horrocks Highway last month.
It's not going to do the whole of the highway, but it is going to address some of the issues, some of the worst parts of the highway, and it's a really good start.
Around 8 k's of road from Roseworthy to the Wasley Road turnoff will be upgraded, which has topped the RAA's list as one of the riskiest roads in the state.
The foundation has actually started to deteriorate because of the soil component in particular.
Motorists can also expect other maintenance work near Collins Field, Angle Grove and Stonecutters Road.
The other $2.2 million will be around the Bungaree Road to Yakka in that vicinity there.
It's said to be a long overdue highway upgrade that's set to improve road safety for all motorists.
Improve road safety for users. And look, I said it's still a long way to go. There's other sections of it, but we can't do the whole lot in one hit.
Local member for Frome, Jeff Brock, has been lobbying for these much-needed upgrades for years. It's hoped construction work on upgrading the first stretch of highway will begin soon. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Household electricity bills across Port Pirie and surrounding regions are set to plummet soon thanks to Council's new solar project. Residents signed up to the project will have a solar system installed for less than $20 a week.
lowering the cost of living by providing high-quality solar panels at a very affordable price.
South Australian made panels that have a 25-year warranty, plus a great inverter for $19–20 a week for 4 years.
If residents choose to finance the system through council, the savings end up paying for the solar panels themselves.
After the 4 years, when the resident will own it, it's effectively a solar system for free.
Around 800 residents have already shown interest in the project and are set to save thousands.
Small houses could save about $1,000 a year, and for larger homes, increase from there. Statistics show up to about $3,000 a year.
This project would help us and a lot of people who are on pensioners like us, and it's good for the community.
The Community Power Network project is also offering a residential battery storage system.
Sonnen are the world's largest provider of batteries for domestic use.
Great opportunity and great price for electricity and solar panels for the local community.
And residents can expect to see a price drop in their electricity bills soon.
To have the first systems installed by the end of August.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
The South Australian Tourism Commission is taking a digital approach to showcasing Eyre Peninsula attractions. A team of vloggers have been sent to the region to inspire holiday ideas within the state.
My name's Cam, this is Rosa and Charles, and this is how you spend a weekend in the Eyre Peninsula.
It's the new direction the South Australian Tourism Commission is taking its visitors through by tapping into the popular online world of influencers and vloggers.
The digital platform is just such a crucial way to be able to get a richer story through rather than just, your traditional media.
And so a team of vloggers were sent to the EP to capture the region's story. And even when not all went to plan, it was about giving the audience the raw experience.
As good as it is to see a really cute kangaroo jumping across, it's even cooler to see a group of people getting caught in the rain trying to shuck oysters for the first time.
Know that if this was a bright sunny day, this would be a tremendous experience.
It's the realness of the experience, and I guess it cuts through a little bit harder than the generic sort of fluffy and overproduced travel stuff.
And by visiting a range of the region's top attractions, that's exactly what the Commission intended to produce for its target audience.
They have credibility, they have following, they get cut through with the target audience. And we believe that this has really showcased the Eyre Peninsula and its world-class experiences.
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, some of the smallest artists at Corn Kindergarten to feature in a statewide art exhibition, and why a British author is in Broken Hill encouraging people to get walking. Southern Cross News has been given an exclusive sneak peek into Broken Hill's new look Civic Centre. The centre will finally reopen this weekend after being plagued with numerous problems.
The Civic Centre saga has certainly had its setbacks, but some believe the end result is worth the wait.
The events team at Council is really proud of this venue, and we think that the whole community will be proud of it as well.
Southern Cross has been given a first look inside the Broken Hill Civic Centre before it opens its doors to the public on Sunday. The foyer has received a facelift, the upstairs has been transformed, and there's cutting-edge technology all around.
Yeah, I was just amazed. It just looks so nice and fresh and clean.
Council is holding an open day to give locals the chance to see it all firsthand and get the tour. A number of different event setups have been organised around the centre to showcase its multi-purpose ability.
We've got a conference set up in the auditorium as well as a dinner setup. Yeah, it just really emphasises to people different things that we can do. Upstairs is all brand new. Nobody will be expecting what it looks like now. 2
events have already been booked into the centre. Council is excited to be reopening the doors.
The open day will run from midday till 4 o'clock on Sunday. So come down, have a wander through, take some time to take it all in and just enjoy what Broken Hill has to offer to the community and to the nation.
Patrick Ryanke, Southern Cross News.
Over 70 bikeheads have left Port Augusta as they embark on the 4-day Outback Postie ride through the Flinders Ranges. Riders made some last-minute adjustments as they prepare to push their bikes to the limits through the rugged terrain.
The challenge of riding a postie comes back to skill and technique, because momentum's your best friend on a postie.
All money raised from the ride will help support families living with cancer. Corn Kindergarten is readying to open its doors to a statewide art exhibition. The school is one of 700 venues hosting Sala exhibitions across the state, with local artists and students entering up to 100 artworks.
They may be small, but don't underestimate the creative talent of these Corn Kindy kids.
We applied for registration as a venue and were successful in that.
The Sala exhibition is held across hundreds of venues across South Australia, but this is one of the first times an art event like this has come to town.
It gives the community a chance to see the artists in the region and what they can, what they're...
Artists from Whyalla, Wilmington and Port Augusta will be showcasing works, as well as a handful of hometown favourites.
The artwork that I've exhibited in this exhibition is called The Horse of Many Tiles. It's a really big horse that's really abstract and colourful.
Although many of the artworks were created by much younger and smaller hands, the cohort of the Corn Kindy each crafting a work of their own.
I painted a rainbow.
And like all the artists, their work is up for sale, meaning they could be in line for some extra pocket money.
And it might not be mum or dad or nana that buy it, it might be someone else who falls in love with it. I've been quite excited about that.
The exhibition will feature up to 100 works and is a one-night only event. It will begin tomorrow afternoon at 4:30. Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Ride operators are fine-tuning their preparations ahead of this weekend's Wharf Fest event in Port Augusta. The annual event will stretch hundreds of metres along the wharf and feature live music, food and everyone's favourite attractions at Sideshow Alley. Organisers are hopeful the windy weather will ease for Saturday.
We want people certainly to come down, and we'll make sure that things are safe and everything can go ahead.
The family event runs all day and will conclude with a fireworks display. A British author who walked from the top of the United Kingdom to the bottom has visited Broken Hill, bringing with him a special message. Keith Badger is encouraging people to get outside and go for a walk, because you never know what you might find out about yourself.
It's a walk that changed their life.
It does give you the space to learn about yourself.
Keith Badger and wife Debbie completed an incredible journey in 2010 when they walked from the top of the UK to the bottom. It was a walk that took 139 days to complete and spanned 2,801 kilometres.
The result of that was it changed my life. Stepping out for this length of time enabled me to experience life and to understand better what life is all about and how we're all connected.
The walk was a physical and mental challenge for both Keith and Debbie. The ups and downs are all documented in his travel memoir, Joining Loose Ends. In the book, Keith speaks of how halfway through the journey, he was overcome with emotion one morning.
In time, I came to realise that related to the struggle that my first wife had gone through and the pain and suffering my sons had had when I found new love with Debbie just a couple of months after my first wife had passed away after a long illness. So all that came up.
Keith's new lease on life also led to the founding of the Rescope Project, which is a charity aimed at encouraging people to live more meaningful lives. All proceeds from Joining Loose Ends will go to the charity.
Our internal landscapes are as complex as the physical landscapes we were walking through.
Keith says every now and then it's important to walk. Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll have fish and tips.
And after strong winds today, conditions are expected to ease. I'll have all the details soon.
Welcome back. Time now for fish and tips.
G'day and welcome to this week's Fish and Tips from Port Augusta, Jewel of the North. Well, that wind has certainly really hit. Probably the only place you really get out in a boat at the moment up here would be around the powerhouse, sticking around the break wall in around that. The good thing is after a big blow like this, generally the King George whiting will come on and also the silver whiting as well. So go try those middle banks for silver whiting on the low tide. And the King George whiting along the usual haunts, along the front of the shacks up in Port Patterson down the Flinders Channel. The snappers should come on the bite as well. Try the shallower grounds for those after the big blows, and the garfish will start coming out as well. And that's all from the Jewel of the North.
Hi, whalers fishing tips for this week. Again, plenty of large squid around Whyalla, right along the coastline. Further south, Whyalla has been the better option. Down towards Cowlards Landing, there's been some really large squid out front of the Cowlards Landing area there, and along with those, some great King George whiting. With windy conditions coming this week, unfortunately, probably our only options are to be fishing land-based with the offshore breezes. Around the Point Lowly area, again, some really nice salmon being taken from the rocks, and some large numbers of snook coming in from the Black Point coastline.
G'day and welcome to Fishing Tips in Port Lincoln. Locally in the bay there's been some yellowfin whiting caught along the town foreshore. It's mainly on the building high tide, especially in the afternoons. Within the bay it's no surprise that squid are continuing to bite well. There have been some whiting within the bay, but better whiting catches have come from Taylor's Landing and also McLaren Point. Also down the passage there's been a few good gummies caught when the weather permits. And over at Coffin Bay, there's been some salmon trout within the bay system and also a few tommies, and there has been a few flathead, and whiting continue to bite really well out at Farm Beach. And that's all we've got for this week. The weather's not looking that great for fishing this weekend, but all the best if you do head out, and we'll see you again with more fishing tips next week.
And now we have the weather with Amy.
Thanks, Abby. Yes, there were strong and damaging winds around the entire region today. Port Augusta saw a wet day with a top of 25. Whyalla and Port Pirie sitting at 24 degrees. On the satellite, and there's some lingering cloud over the southeast associated with a cold front. Skies are clearer elsewhere due to a dominant high pressure system. Be sure to take care if you're out on the waters tomorrow, with westerly winds shifting northwesterly up to 30 knots and seas reaching up to 3 metres. Sunrise is at 7:12 while it will set at 5:40. Windy conditions are expected to ease tomorrow, however the wet weather will settle in. Port Augusta and Whyalla reaching 17 degrees, rain in Port Lincoln and a top of 16. Rain continuing into early next week around Port Lincoln, Cleve and Woodner, maximum sitting in the mid to high teens over the coming days. A wet and windy few days for Whyalla and Port Augusta with a top of 16 on Monday, rain for Kadina and a high of 13 early next week. Temperatures sitting at 15 in Port Pirie, while Clare will continue to be a few degrees cooler as rain continues into early next week. Meanwhile, Broken Hill will be mostly sunny and is heading for a top of 15 on Monday. So just a reminder to tie down those loose items and stay indoors until the strong winds ease.
Thanks, Amy. Hopefully it calms down and we see more of that rain soon. And that's the local news this Thursday. Thanks for your company. I'll leave you tonight with pictures of the wild weather which has lashed the EP. Stay safe and good night.